Guys, Kevin Holland had an idea. Kevin Holland goes to social media, decides he's going to call out Nate Diaz. Now, I'm backing up 72 hours, but I then made a video on that. I came and talked to you guys about it, right? It's called a focus group. I'm generally right in line with you guys. If I feel something in my stomach and we're usually on the same page. Kevin Holland calls out Nate. I decided to do what's called a poll on my YouTube page, and I just asked you guys, for Nate Diaz's last fight, here was a simple question. For Nate Diaz's last fight with the UFC, who would you like to see him fight? Conor McGregor, George Masvidal, Kevin Holland. Now, not for nothing, but generally the way these polls work is you guys will do it in line with whoever's the most popular. Like, it would never be the X's and O's or the ins and out or the press conferences or the record or the hype of one guy versus the principal here who I made Nate Diaz. You would always say whoever the most popular of those three is and who the second most popular and who the third most popular. That's just the way those polls tend to work. And I assume this would be the same. Conor McGregor would come in 1, George Masvidal 2, Kevin Holland 3, and we all move on with our life. But stop right there, because that's not what happened. 32,000 people have weighed in. It's only been about 8 hours. 32,000 people took the time to weigh in and say who they'd like to fight. And yes, sure enough, Conor McGregor, the sport's biggest star, came in number 1. Kevin Holland came in number 2. Now, to take a little bit closer look at those numbers, Kevin Holland came in number 2 with 30% of the vote. George Masvidal had 12% of the vote. So another way of saying that, and yes, I know I'm rounding numbers, but Kevin Holland got 3 times the support as George Masvidal did. That is surprising to me. That's just not generally how those polls go. ABC 1, 2, and 3 does generally go by popularity no matter what the question was. This one looks as though the audience actually thought about it. And now we have a comment portion to this, and it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable, one after the next, and times that by dozens upon dozens of you that took the time to weigh in and said, yes, absolutely, that's the fight that I want. And many of you did go a little bit further. Many of you did break down the X's and O's. Many of you did bring down the trash-talking component of it. Not to mention, Kevin Holland is known to talk to you during a fight, which, by the way, Nate Diaz is as well, which I overlooked. It just didn't dawn on me until so many of you left that comment and were absolutely on board with it. I mean, what do we make of that? What do we make of that? Kevin Holland versus Nate Diaz. Is that a good idea? Yeah, we all know that it is. But according to you and according to the people that took the time to weigh in, which was over 30,000 people, and that's a very meaningful focus group, 300% more wanted to see Holland versus Diaz than even wanted to see Masvidal, who's a massive star. That's a big deal. And that caught me a little bit off guard, and it does make me think, well, where is that fight going to go? The power that you guys have is hard for me to put into words. And sometimes I think that you think they're just that. They're just words. They're something that I say. When I talk about the mandate of the masses, when I talk about having your thumb on the pulse and what the audience wants, it's true. When you guys want something and you get behind it, and then you get in front of it, and you go on social media and you do your little tagging and all the stuff and the retweets and the likes and the loves and the shares and all, it ends up happening. No, I can't guarantee you that fight, but I can very close to guarantee you that that fight is going to be talked about. That fight is going to be discussed. I feel strongly that we could go a step further, that phone calls will be made. Are both sides going to accept? Where's that going to go? That's anybody's guess. But Kevin Holland versus Nate Diaz. Surprise call out. I also love it. But the passion that you guys had behind it surprised me. And I think that's a tip of the hat, not only to Diaz. I think that you guys respected something that Kevin Holland did.